Paul Di'Anno, the original lead vocalist of the legendary heavy metal band Iron Maiden, has tragically passed away at the age of 66. The news was confirmed in a solemn statement issued by his record label on behalf of his grieving family. Di'Anno, a towering figure in the early days of metal, had been struggling with health issues for several years, yet no specific cause of death was announced. His passing marks the end of an era in metal music history. The statement revealed that despite his battles with illness, Di'Anno still managed to push through and perform over 100 concerts since 2023, showing his relentless dedication to his fans and the music he loved. He passed away peacefully at his home in Salisbury, surrounded by family and loved ones. Born on May 17, 1958, in Chingford, East London, Paul Di'Anno's rise to fame was marked by his role as the lead vocalist for Iron Maiden, where he fronted the band from 1978 to 1981. His raw, rebellious energy and unpolished, gritty vocal style defined Iron Maiden's early sound. With Di'Anno at the helm, Iron Maiden released 2 albums that would become cornerstones in the heavy metal genre. Their self-titled debut album Iron Maiden in 1980, followed by the iconic Killers in 1981. These albums didn't just mark Iron Maiden's arrival on the global music scene, they forever shifted the landscape of heavy metal. Di'Anno's time with the band, though brief, was transformative. His voice became synonymous with early Maiden classics like Running Free, Sanctuary, Wrathchild, and Twilight Zone, songs that laid the groundwork for the band's meteoric rise in the heavy metal scene. While these songs might be seen today as some of Iron Maiden's more straightforward early work, at the time they were pioneering. Di'Anno's voice added an unmistakable edge to the band's sound, giving Iron Maiden a rawness that contrasted sharply with the more polished vocals of other bands in the growing new wave of British heavy metal, NWOBHM movement. However, despite the success of these albums, tensions within the band were brewing. By mid-1981, Di'Anno's departure was announced, and he was replaced by Bruce Dickinson, a powerhouse vocalist who would go on to front the band for the next 4 decades. The reasons behind Di'Anno's exit were the subject of speculation for many years. Some reports suggested that there were creative and personal differences between Di'Anno, Iron Maiden's founder and bassist Steve Harris, and their manager Rod Smallwood. Others pointed to dissatisfaction with Di'Anno's live performances during that time. Yet, in more recent years, Di'Anno vehemently denied that his departure was due to any issues with his voice or on-stage abilities. In a candid interview with Rock Hard magazine in 2022, he addressed the rumors. "My record stands for itself," Di'Anno stated. "I've played more shows than Iron Maiden have ever played, so it was nothing to do with my voice. I was just upset about certain things which were private things in the band, and the way I dealt with them maybe was not right, but I dealt with them. And that's the end of it. And that's as much as I'm gonna say." Despite the professional split, Di'Anno's contribution to the band's legacy is undeniable. Iron Maiden, now fronted by Dickinson, went on to become one of the most successful and influential heavy metal bands of all time. But for fans of the band's early work, Di'Anno's voice remained a symbol of Iron Maiden's raw and unfiltered beginnings. His gritty, punk-infused vocal delivery gave the band a unique sound that set them apart from their peers in the late 1970s and early 1980s. This distinctive style resonated with fans who craved something more primal and aggressive in their music. After parting ways with Iron Maiden, Di'Anno embarked on a long and varied solo career. He fronted bands like Battlezone and Killers, continuing to make his mark in the heavy metal scene. His work with Battlezone, in particular, showed that he was capable of evolving beyond his Maiden years, as he explored different musical avenues while still maintaining the edge that made him a heavy metal icon. Over the years, Di'Anno released a series of solo albums that showcased his versatility as a singer and a songwriter. He also made guest appearances on various records, lending his distinctive voice to a range of projects across the heavy metal and rock spectrum. In 2024, Di'Anno released his first career retrospective album, The Book of the Beast. Compilation was a significant milestone, as it brought together highlights from his extensive post-Maiden career, giving fans a comprehensive look at his work over the years. For many, it was a reminder that while Di'Anno's time with Iron Maiden was relatively short, his impact on the world of heavy metal was long-lasting and profound. Despite his continued success in the music industry, Di'Anno's later years were fraught with personal struggles, particularly regarding his health. Over the past few years, he had been confined to a wheelchair due to complications from various ailments, including issues with his knees and other physical challenges that made performing difficult. But in true Paul Di'Anno fashion, he refused to let these obstacles hold him back. Even as his health deteriorated, he remained committed to his music and to his fans, performing over 100 shows since 2023. His determination to continue performing despite his health issues became a testament to his unwavering passion for music. Di'Anno's performances in recent years were remarkable, not just because of his age and health struggles, but because they represented a fierce defiance of the physical limitations imposed on him. It was a reflection of his enduring spirit and his refusal to be defined by his circumstances. Fans around the world admired his resilience, and each show became a celebration of both his legacy and his perseverance. His concerts, which often saw fans traveling great distances to see him, were filled with an electric atmosphere of gratitude, respect, and admiration for a man who had given so much to the metal world. Paul Di'Anno's death at the age of 66 leaves a gaping hole in the heart of the heavy metal community. Tributes from musicians, fans, and industry insiders have poured in since the news broke, with many remembering him not just as the original voice of Iron Maiden but as an influential figure in his own right. His unique vocal style, his uncompromising attitude, and his sheer love for music have left an indelible mark on the world of metal. The impact Di'Anno had on the heavy metal genre cannot be overstated. When Iron Maiden first emerged on the scene in the late 1970s, they were part of a larger movement known as the New Wave of British heavy metal, a genre that included bands like Judas Priest, Motorhead, and Saxon. Yet, even among these titans of metal, Iron Maiden stood out largely thanks to Di'Anno's distinct vocal style. His ability to blend punk rock aggression with the soaring melodies of heavy metal gave the band a fresh, rebellious sound that resonated with a generation of disaffected youth. Though Bruce Dickinson may have taken the band to new heights after Di'Anno's departure, it was Paul who helped to establish the foundation upon which the band would build its massive empire. The aggressive, hard-edged sound that defined the band's early work was, in many ways, a direct reflection of Di'Anno's personality, fierce, unapologetic, and unafraid to push boundaries. Di'Anno's influence can still be heard in many metal bands that emerged in the years following his time with Iron Maiden. His raw, unpolished vocals inspired a generation of metal singers who sought to capture the same sense of urgency and authenticity in their music. Today, his work on Iron Maiden and Killers is viewed as essential listening for anyone looking to understand the evolution of heavy metal. The songs he recorded during his tenure with the band continue to be celebrated, both by longtime fans and by new listeners discovering his work for the first time. As fans and fellow musicians mourn his passing, they are also celebrating the legacy he leaves behind. Whether it was through his time with Iron Maiden, his work with Battlezone, or his solo career, Paul Di'Anno's voice will continue to reverberate throughout the heavy metal world for years to come. His passing may mark the end of his earthly journey, but his music and his influence will live on, inspiring future generations of metalheads.